It is game day in Raleigh, North Carolina, as the Ottawa Senators come into town to take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Ottawa coming into the game 13-13-2, right at 500. Carolina heading into tonight's game 18-9-1 as they improve to that record after last night's win, or not last night, Tuesday night's win against San Jose. My week's been all off, if you can't tell so far. As we take a look at some of the pregame numbers, Carolina yet again leading in every single category. The big one I do want to note, though, Ottawa's power play is ranked 4th. Carolina is ranked 3rd. They're clicking at 27.6%. I think that's the best power play Ottawa's had in I can't tell you how many years, so cannot take a lot of penalties. But I'll pass it over to you guys. What are you guys seeing from these numbers?
Yeah, no, I think it's proofs positive in the numbers that we can't take penalties. Against even against teams like Ottawa. I mean, they're a 500 team, but they're still a good team. I mean, you can't take them lightly. They got a really good skill. That Stutzle Kachuk is really good, and so they can make you pay. I mean, and I guess fortunately their penalty kill is not as super either. So maybe we take advantage of that if they go to the box. But I think we just got to stay out of the box, and we saw that, and we've seen that in games past that, we take too many stupid penalties early and we get ourselves behind the 8 ball and no flow to the game. So staying out of the box is going to be key.
Yeah, I mean, the stat for me is the 4 goals against for Ottawa. They're almost identical. Like they're only 0.4 off of each other, which means they play in a lot of tight games. They play those 4-3 games where they lose, or 3-2, like they play in those kind of games. So, like I said, like you had said, if the power play is going and their power play is not, then it's going to be a good night for the Canes. But yeah, they definitely play a lot of tight games. So we need to definitely tighten up, especially in the neutral zone. It's been a nightmare. I feel like for the past 2 weeks, it's been crazy. So, yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully they can get the win.
Yeah. And the 3 players to look out for on Ottawa are going to be, as spoken before, Tim Stutzle, Drake Batherson, and apparently New York's latest recruit, Brady Tkachuk. They're getting in a lot of heat for that one. I don't know if you guys saw that, but we'll keep it on Ottawa for today. Stutzle leading Ottawa with 26 assists. Tkachuk leading with 14 goals. What are you seeing out of these 3 guys? How do we shut them down, and how do we make sure they're not as effective as they have been in games past, as they're all over a point a game?
Yeah, we just have to get to our game early. We have to get on them quickly. I think a couple of weeks ago against, I don't remember who it was against, but Cam, your point was spot on. If we don't give them time to get started, then we control them. And I think that's what these guys are. And Kachuk, Brady's like his brother. I mean, he's a pest. He'll do anything and everything to get under your skin. So as long as we can control him, getting going. And Stutzle's just a ton of skill. I mean, he'll burn you in a heartbeat if you let him and give him room. And we just can't give him room. And Batherson, he's sort of I don't remember a lot about him, but he's sneaking.
He's my dark horse this year. 30 points already.
Yeah, no, sneaks in there, and he's got a ton of points, and again, I don't know a lot about him, but I do know that this Stutzle kid and Brady Tkachuk are going to be controlled if we get on them early and don't let them get transition and moving in the right direction.
Yeah, and I think the key too is making sure that the Canes are putting a lot of pressure on their D zone too. You just got to, the best way to play against these guys is just not let them get in the offensive zone. Don't give them on-man rushes, making sure that you're taking responsibility in the neutral zone. If you don't have a look, dump it in, and just make sure it's deep. Make sure they're out of our end as much as we can, for sure, because, yeah, these 3 they're doing really well this year. And it's funny because it's probably, I haven't looked at the whole stats for the whole team. I bet it's these 3, and then it probably tails off quite a bit for who's next.
Yeah, after this, it goes to, I think, the second high, or the fourth highest in scoring for forwards is at 19.
Yeah, Josh Norris is at
36, 32, 31.
Yeah,
so Claude Giroux and
yeah. And again, that's why they're a 500 team. They only got 3 guys, so.
Well, you look at Carolina's, and we're not too far
off
of these numbers.
To be fair, but I mean, there's probably a lot more on that list that are contributing, I would assume. And then obviously the top end guys with like Natchez and stuff. But yeah, I just think the Canes are more spread out across the board with the points, whereas, Ottawa definitely looks to their top guys to be their top guys every single night. So, yeah, if you can shut them down by keeping it in the ozone, then they should be all right.
Yep. Big thing is stop the breakout before it starts. If you get into a run and gun game with this team, it'll be a 6-5 game, and you might not be on the good side of it. If you control the neutral zone, as Cam has mentioned, have tight gaps, don't allow them to generate any speed through the neutral zone, we're going to be on the good side of a probably pretty decent game. Because Ottawa, one thing they have notoriously struggled on in the past and are continuing to do so is they cannot play defense. So the best way to win this game is to force them to play their worst position, which is defense. Don't allow them to play any offense. And that's going to be crucial, having a third guy high. Please, Rod, put a third guy high. I don't know why your forward check has all three below the goal line, but I'm tired of seeing it. Let's have a little bit of retreat in our system. That's all I'm asking for, just a little bit, because it would stop everything. But I digress. And we're going to take a look at the players for the Hurricanes to watch. We're putting him back on the list because I don't think he's been playing his best hockey of the year these past couple games. That's Martin Necas, still leading the team in points with 43, leading in goals and assists. Let's call a spade a spade. 14 goals and 29 assists as well, too. He is one to look out for. William Carrier, who I think has been really driving the boat as of late. He's starting to, I think, gather his rhythm here, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of him lately. Look for him to be good. And then Brent Burns, we need to see the Brent Burns of old. I know it's hard to ask for at his age, but we need more out of him. Look for him to get back to his game after scoring last night. I'm going to pass it over to you guys. What are you guys seeing out of these three?
Yeah, I mean, Necas has got to get going again. Hey, he's just when he's full tilt speed and his game is speed, he'll take over a game. And I think we just haven't seen it out of him. We've seen it in spurts here in the last handful of games, but he's just got to get out of his own head, quite honestly. And I think we said it, he doesn't need to overcomplicate his game, because when he does that, we're seeing the result of it here in the last handful of games. So he's got to get his game simplified, and who knows where they're going to put him. He's with Otto, and then he bounced around, and then with Jury going out getting hurt, it was sort of it was a hodgepodge of line combinations throughout that second and third period against San Jose. But the other guy, I agree with you. Carrier's really added a dimension to that. He actually, I think he played up with Stahl and Martinook for a good part of the San Jose game, and I really like his game. He's really hard. He goes to the net hard, and he's very physical. And he doesn't back down from about anything. And again, Burns, I think he was probably one of our better players against San Jose. We didn't have many, but he was one of our better players, I think, throughout the game. And he was rewarded with a goal, and quite honestly, he almost missed it. So I'm glad he didn't, because that was a game changer for us against Sharks.
Yeah, and I think too is, the players and a guy like Martin Necas, when the team is going, he's going. Like, he's very much, he reads and feeds off of the guys around him. So I haven't seen it yet. I don't think he's a guy that, at least right now, you look at, again, the Canes are, playing pretty poorly so far. And he hasn't been like stepping up to, get, 3 or 4 points a game against, basically driving the team out of wherever they're in. So, again, when the team's going, he's going as well, which, again, that's still a good thing. We just need the team to get going again. So they played well in the third against the Sharks, but at the end of the day, with the guys with the points, they need to step up.
Yep.
They just need to be the big guys on the team. Get the high flip going. I've been saying this for a long time. When they stop doing the high flip out of the D zone into the neutral zone, stuff goes downhill.
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because we were at the game, and we're standing out in the alleyway or the hallway, and after the second period, and Cam's like, "Man, how many times did they flip the puck out of the D zone?" And he's like, "It's probably been like 3 or 4 the whole game." He's like, "We got to get back to that.
Yeah,
we got to get back to that." And I think we did it about 15 times in the third period, and you saw the end result. So as much as it seems weird for somebody to look at, is that really, it's not puck control, it's not puck possession, but at the same time, it creates all that chaos and and transition that we weren't getting in the first period. We were allowing the Sharks to transition through the neutral zone, and we know how crappy we are against transition. So we didn't allow them to do it in the third period, and it really allowed us to get to our speed game, and absolutely took the game over in the third period.
Yeah, you're just creating 50-50 puck battles in advanced areas on the ice. You know, you don't want to create a 50-50 puck battle inside of your zone. You'd rather do it in the defensive zone or in their your offensive zone. I can't speak tonight. So get the puck out, get it into an area to where if you win a 50-50 battle, you have a shot on net. And I think the high flip is underutilized. I think we used to do it a lot better when we had certain players like a Brett Pesce and a Brady Shea. I think they were two of the best players at it. And so, you're replacing them with guys that maybe not able to do it at quite the same level. So I would love to see Carolina get back to it because I think it is a very underutilized portion. And then we're going to take a look over at the injuries. Freddie Anderson still struggling with, I believe, the lower body injury. Jack Drury got added to the list. It is a hand injury. He is supposed to be getting surgery, so we don't have a direct timetable on that. Jesper Foss out for the season with the neck injury. For Ottawa, David Perron will be out. Artem Zub and Zach Ostapchuk. Ostapchuk?
Yeah.
Sure.
Ostapchuk? Just call him Zach O.
Yeah, Zach O.
I'm so sorry, but Ostapchuk. Sure. A Stapchuk.
Sure. There you go.
Well, it's one of them. Anyways, yeah. So, adding Jack Drury to the list, I want to get your guys' thoughts onto what that means for Carolina's depth down the middle. And then looking at the Ottawa side, Artem Zub, big piece of the back end for Ottawa. David Perron, big veteran piece. I think he's been kind of a glue guy for him this year so far. How do you see these injuries affecting this game coming up?
I think the Jack Drury injury is, I think it's the lesser of the two between him and Artem Zub. I think Drury, he's not had a great handful or last dozen games, let's say, or maybe dozens a little bit much, but maybe at 10 or 12 games. So
almost
a dozen. Yeah.
We'll do 11.
I know. It's like, whatever, you know what I meant? So
the fast had a dozen games on that, maybe not a dozen, but like 10 or 12 games.
Maybe not
like
a foot,
12.
but maybe 12 inches. So
exactly. There it is.
So I think Jack, he's I think it's going to do is it's going to bump Kotkaniemi back to the spot where I think he needs to be and give him that opportunity on that second line. But I don't know who they're going to bump to the middle on the fourth line. They ran Roslovic a few shifts at center.
Tyson Yost.
I don't know who. I mean, is Tyson Yost? Is he a centerman? I don't know if he is or he isn't.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
so
he is.
Okay, so then he's going to play down the middle. So just gives a different look down the middle. Where they're going to miss Jack, though, quite honestly, is going to be on the penalty kill. He's a good penalty killer. He eats pucks, and it's why he got hurt. I mean, he was eating a shot. So that's the part where they're going to miss him a lot. I think from the center position, adding a guy back in like Tyson Yost, I think he can fill that void. But I don't know that. I think the biggest place we're going to miss him is on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind seeing KK a little bit more on the penalty kill. But one other question I just want to pose to you. I did see Tyson Yost did get called up, so I'm assuming that's their decision. Why have we not seen Ryan Suzuki?
I don't know. Because like Rod can pick out like who's a gamer. Rod's good at that. We've seen it with Blake. We've seen it with other players that he's developed. Like he can kind of pick them out. The fact that Suzuki's been in the system for, gosh, what? He's been in the AHL team for like 4 or 5 years at this point.
Yeah.
I think at a certain point, he has to either realize that he's probably not going to get the call up here, or he might need to move on, or maybe he's just not ready, or Rod thinks he's not ready.
Maybe he's got to change a game or something.
That's what I mean. Like he's got to kind of show or have a breakout season. I think he has kind of flown under the radar for 4 or 5 years. So I don't know. I think Rod just likes the guys with the more experience as well. And Ty Jost has experience for sure. So he's played, I think, over 100 games in the NHL. So it's more of, I think, an experience thing. And I guess he's just not seeing something that's jumping out at him like that did with Blake.
Yeah,
so.
I think like for like, you take an experienced guy. I think if you got two guys that are sort of have equal skill sets, then you take the guy that's got the reps. Not to say that you don't want the guy to get reps, but I mean, it's a business too, so you got to make sure that you get the guy that's got the reps in the lineup.
100% agree. I just feel like if we're gonna give Suzuki a chance, now is probably the time for it. But we'll digress, and that will be probably a Sunday conversation because that seems like a good topic. We're gonna move over to the starting goalies for what we think should be the starting goalies for tonight's game, as we've been red hot in this department as of late. Pyotr Kochetkov should get the start. Now, I don't know. I thought Tokarski was going Tuesday. He's not. So now he might go here. I'm not sure. But I'm going to put Kochetkov in. 17 games played, 12-4-0 record. The numbers in the save department and goals against are starting to kind of take a slide downwards, hoping that he can get those back on track. Guy across the ice should be Linus Olmark. 18 games played this year, 8-7-2 record with a 9.03 and a 2.70. Goals against. What are you guys seeing out of this battle between the pipes?
I think it's all going to come down to who makes that save. I'll call it that save, because, that's been Kochetkov's kind of Achilles heel all year, is he'll make these dazzling 10-bell saves, and then all of a sudden he'll let 2 in 5-hole that he should see and he should get. I mean, let's be honest. The first goal against San Jose, I get it. It was in traffic, but he's got to track that puck, and it should not go 5-hole on him. So at the end of the day, that's going to be the difference. And I think he's got to start making those saves. And I think Allmark, he's sort of a wild card for me because he's not playing on a great team. The numbers are okay. They're not great, but they're okay. But they're better than Kochetkov. So he's Kochetkov's got to beat him in the battle in between the pipes for us to come out on the good end.
Yeah, like you said, it's, the goals against are close, obviously. But for the record that he has, I don't believe it should be as close. I think he should be closer to a 2.2 goals against.
Yep.
But again, that's just me being nitpicky about numbers. So he's played well. He's won the game. He's 12-4, so he's winning games. Doesn't matter how you win them, you win them. So that's the biggest thing for him. And I think Olmark's kept his team in a lot of games this year, like a lot. Former Vezina winner. You look at his goaltending on Ottawa. If he was on a contender, you imagine what his numbers could be. If he was
on Edmonton,
Winnipeg, or Dallas or whoever. You look at Otter's numbers and they're a lot better than his. So he's a really good.
I was going to say you just picked 2 Vezina candidates.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I understand. That's what I'm saying is like the team around them as well helps them. Like, it's not just.
Yeah. No, I know.
It's not just them. So they got to get some help from the D and the forwards as well. So, but yeah, Olmark hangs in there, man. He makes the saves that he needs to make in those times, and we hope that Kochetkov can beat him to it in this game.
Yeah, and to really just to tag one more comment onto that, Kim, is that I think your point is absolutely spot on when it comes to his goals against and save percentage should be better based on his record. And I think what's really concerning when you look at it is that our last 4 or 5 games, we've scored 2 goals, 3 goals. We've scored less than we have previously. And if our scoring is down, then that's going to make it even more problematic for him to not make that save and to get those numbers back up to where they should be. Because early on in the season, we were scoring 5, 6, 4+ goals a game, and we're not doing that now. So he's got to figure that out and get back in that rhythm and make those saves and drive that number up. Because if we're not scoring goals, that number is going to hurt us.
Yep. That's going to be another Sunday topic as well, too. Only thing I want to add to it is when you see 15 shots and let up 2, it's kind of tough, although it's only tough to only see 15 shots in a game as well, too. But final rapid fire, because we're already way over the time we want to be at. What's your final score prediction for this game?
I'll go 3-1.
Go first.
Hurricanes.
3-1. Okay, Cam.
I think it's going to be 4-3. I think the Canes are going to win by 4-3.
4-3. Okay. I'm going 5-2. I'm going to stick with it until it hits one of these days
there you
because
go.
I've done it the past 4. So, all right, that will be tonight's game. Ottawa taking on the Carolina Hurricanes at Lenovo Center. Make sure you tune in.